Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Welcome to this I4MS webinar. Today, together with Valerio Alessandroni, who is going to talk about the application of augmented reality in service operation, we will be delivering this webinar. And just a brief introduction for those who don't know I4MS. Well, first of all, my name is Maria Roca. I'm I4MS project manager. Well, I4MS is a coordination and support action. We are supporting manufacturing SMEs via different cascade funding opportunities. And within this framework, we organize also different activities, such as the webinar today that is hosted by Valerio, in order to explain what are the benefits of digital transformations and the different innovations that you can benefit from I4MS. So I will leave in the chat the link to the open calls calendar, where you will find the different funding opportunities that are delivered within the framework of I4MS. And also in the online community, where you will be able to find all the materials and articles that Valerio and other experts have been sharing with us along the years. So with this, Valerio, the floor is yours. Thank you very much all for joining. Thank you, Valerio. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. My name is Valerio Alessandroni. I am a technical director of a company based in Estonia, which is EFCC, Estonian Field Bus Competency Center. And today I will have a short talk about the application of augmented reality in service operations. I will start my talk with some recall about augmented reality. And in the second part, I will speak about the applications of this theory in service operation. And I think that augmented reality is an important step during any kind of digital transition, because it will help all the workers in a company, from the factory floor to the technicians to the service operators and so on, to work in a better way in any kind of industry. So let's start from some basic consideration. In any manufacturing company, and not only in manufacturing company, also in service company and so on, we have two different situations. The first situation is that the engineering and business groups are well in a good position, reached a good step along their respective digital transformation journeys. So engineering and business groups are walking through digital transformation roadmap, and they already reached normally a good point. On the other side, on the manufacturing floor, on the factory floor, sorry, still typical rely, the operations still typical rely on legacy tools and methods to capture information and share knowledge. If we go to the factory floor in a typical manufacturing company, we can find many different kind of tools, from PLCs, SCADA, MES, and so on, each one using different operating systems very often, unable to communicate in a flawless way. And so it's more difficult to capture information and share knowledge than in the other departments of the company. Also because manual methods are still very popular. This gives a result. Most workers in the factory floor remain disconnected from the information ecosystem on which the other functions in the company have come to rely. So while we have information ecosystem inside the company, which is supplied continuously by informations coming from all the departments, and while the engineering and business groups can normally can use this information ecosystem, the workers, or most of the workers, still cannot. So we should have some way to put together these two parts of the company if we want to achieve a better flow of operations. Because the risk of ignoring this information discontinuity is growing. It's growing why? Because products are becoming more complex and the workforce is becoming less and less experienced. So while it's very easy to find the technicians knowing the basics of electronics or automation, it's less and less easy to find the technicians, for instance, that know what are digital twins or which are able to work with smart robots and so on. So the information discontinuity is growing. And by properly connecting these workers, these two parts of the companies, organizations can reduce manufacturing and maintenance errors while promoting efficiency and spreading internal expertise. So there are two basic results. The first one is to reduce errors because everybody is using the same data. The second result is a better efficiency and a better spreading of internal expertise. And as the factory floor is going digital, the employees should go digital also to keep pace. In a digital factory or in a virtual factory, is more and more difficult not to have digital competencies. But very often, it's difficult to ask to workers that are, let's say, a little bit older than the others, that have a long experience, to become suddenly digital. So we must help them. We must help them in some way that is very natural for them. And here in the picture, you can see one of these ways. This is augmented reality. So somebody is using a tablet, pointing to some machine, and on the tablet you can see the picture of the machine. Of course, who is using the tablet can also be a remote. It's not necessary to be in front of the machine. But the point is that on the picture of the machine, we can see also additional informations. We can see, for instance, some arrow indicating where the operator should touch or where he should do or her should do some operation. It's possible to open an instruction manual to know better what the machine is doing, which are the parts that require maintenance, and so on. This is the basic concept of augmented reality. So we have the reality, which can be a picture of an existing object, existing machine, and so on. And we augment this reality, adding some information which are useful for the personnel that have to perform some operation. In this case, we are speaking about service. So we will add service informations, but we will see during the speech that there are many other possibilities in which every kind of operator can see the information that he really needs. So not general information that don't give, in reality, any added value. Augmented reality is therefore the combination of real world. I repeat again, we see normally a picture of a real object and the virtual world, which is computer generated. A real image is captured on video and augmented with layers of digital information. Here, for instance, in this picture, you can see some instruction that is displayed for the operator that has to repair the engine of some car. So there is an operation that will be unscrew and remove the screw indicated like E3156. In the screen, the operator will see the exact location of the screw, and clicking on or moving the head or pointing to this particular screw, the operator will have the exact information about how to unscrew, how to replace, or how to put some new screw, and so on. And this is helping in this case, the maintenance operation of a car. Augmented reality, therefore, is a technologically enhanced version of reality, which is created by using technology to overlay digital information, which is coming from the information ecosystem of the company normally, on the image of something that being viewed through a device that can be smart goggles or smartphone camera or tablet or any other object that allows us to look at a picture or at a video of some real object. The goggles are often voice controlled, leaving the wearers with both hands free. So it's not necessary to click on the screen or to do some operation by hands because the hands are required for the maintenance operation and so on. And the voice can be used to jump from one point to the other or to open a sub-menu from the screen, how it is displayed in this picture. So, for instance, if we go on maintenance needed, we can open this menu in sub-menus and without using the hands, just using the voice. In these years, augmented reality has emerged as a powerful new tool to bridge the gap between the digital and real worlds for many kinds of operators. Assemblers, for instance, people that have to assemble some system using components, operators in general, and the technicians, service technicians, for instance. Very important, I would like to emphasize in this moment, is the augmented reality as a tool for technicians working on the field. If you work in your company, it's much easier to get to open a handbook or to get some information that are in the information ecosystem. But if you are on the field, this is more difficult. With augmented reality, you can have a help for your operations with augmented reality in real time. Adopting AR solutions for employee training and guidance applications, the companies can empower their factory workers with more information. And this will help to optimize the performances of assets and personnel. This will help to reduce costs, of course, because the maintenance and the other operations are require less time. It will help to ensure product quality because we will have less errors. And of course, it will increase on-time delivery. So the product will be delivered to the final customer or will be repaired for the final customer on time without any delay. In manufacturing, therefore, we can recognize some benefits, like, for instance, real-time relevant data to workers, regardless of time and location. As I said, the worker can be in the company, can be outside, making some service at the customer premises, and so on. The data that are displayed are in real time, but also relevant. So we don't need information that are not required for a specific operation. The augmented reality will provide us, the platform of augmented reality will provide us with the exact information that we need for a certain operation at a certain time in a certain location. We will have a greater flexibility and also think, for instance, to the possibility of using less experienced personnel to perform some operation. If you want to repair a complex machine, normally you need a deep know-how about this machine in a traditional situation. But if you can use augmented reality, you may have a less deep knowledge of the machine because the Googles or your tablet or your smartphone will guide you, will show you what to do in every moment, will show you what component you should use, what operation you should make, and so on. We will have, therefore, a greater flexibility and increased operational mobility, because also non-expert staff can perform some operation, and we will have, as a whole, an improved efficiency. So, introducing augmented reality to industrial markets, we are speaking today about manufacturing, not about other kind of industries that are anyway very interesting for augmented reality, and I will make some example later. Introducing AR to industrial markets will probably change the way how many jobs are performed, because AR is removing the guesswork from manual work, streamlining the processes. In many cases, when we have a problem to solve on some machine, on some system that is not we don't use very commonly, we have to guess, we have to make some hypotheses. We don't know exactly what to do from the beginning. Augmented reality will give us the answers. Augmented reality will tell us what to do exactly at a certain moment. So, removing the guesswork from manual work. And the technicians in the field will be able to receive live support from remote staff who can indicate markings, point out issues, superimpose models, and more. This also is an important concept. On the other side, imagine this operator working on the tablet below this slide, at the bottom of this slide. What is on the other side of the line? Until now, I spoke about information ecosystem of the company, but in reality, on the other side, can be also a man or a woman, an expert colleague that is indicating to the operator, in this case, what to do, which are the operation that he or she has to perform. So not always on the other side of the line there is a machine, there is a computer. In many cases can be some expert colleague or some expert operator or some consultant from some other company indicating what to do exactly. Again, eliminating the guesswork from the manual work. From product design, so from design operations to verification and testing to maintenance, augmented reality is quickly becoming a pillar of today's manufacturing. Already 63% according to Aberdeen, you see at the bottom of the slide, Aberdeen is a very important market research company. 63% of best-in-class companies in every kind of industry are already using in some way augmented reality. And 33% of best-in-class companies are currently evaluating the benefits of augmented reality and planning to incorporate it into their production processes. So if we speak about manufacturing, we already can see that 33% of best-in-class manufacturing companies are using augmented reality. There are many use cases which we can find to get a demonstration about how augmented reality is useful in manufacturing. Typical use cases are upskill workforce capability, visual work instructions, elimination of paper manuals, training of technicians, acceleration of operations efficiency, and safety training. These are typical use cases that we can find in real applications of augmented reality in manufacturing. It means that most of the company are using augmented reality to give a better skill to their workforce, a better capability to perform some operation. Many companies are using augmented reality to give instructions during some operation. Some of them are eliminating paper manuals, so the manual can be browsed directly through the Googles or through the tablet or through a smartphone without the need to carry kilos and kilos of paper. Training also is very important, because if I have to learn some new machine, what is better than augmented reality? I look at a part of the machine, and immediately on my Googles or on my tablet, I can see a description of this part, the operation that I should do to replace the part, or the maintenance operation like add oil next week, or check the voltage immediately because the voltage is not high enough, and so on. These are typical use cases that are already existing, and that you can find very easily on the literature, on the web, and so on. An example is that the major car companies are already quickly adopting augmented reality applications, looking for another competitive edge. For instance, AR services provide the driver with information about the surrounding environment, condition, and in windshield navigation. If you have, let's say, a medium to top level car, you already can see that on your windshield the speed will appear, or the maximum speed that you can that you must respect in the place where you are, and so on. Augmented reality instructions and guides can replace long and complex manuals. I don't know if you have ever seen the maintenance manual of a typical car. It's thousands of pages. That, of course, the shop should open and should have a disposal in every moment. With augmented reality, these pages can be browsed in a much easier way from any part of the world. AR headsets can automate the training process in manufacturing or maintenance of automobiles. I already spoke about this. Finally, augmented reality guided picking helps warehouse employees to become more efficient. In logistics, AR is very important, because if we are in front of a complex and a big warehouse, sometimes it's difficult to find the right component or the right piece inside the warehouse. The goggles will display information, or the tablet will display information telling us immediately where is the component that we need. So the warehouse employees are becoming more and more efficient. They don't lose time anymore. Let's go to the maintenance technician. As we said, augmented reality is also providing to be a powerful tool for maintenance and service technicians. A single asset, an equipment, a tool machine, an automobile, and so on, can require dozens of maintenance procedures that involve hundreds of components and complex steps. Think about the automobile, for instance, a product that every one of us know. We can have maintenance procedures to control and to check and change the oil, or to check and change the wheels, or to change to check the engine, or the conditioning system, and so on. All these procedures can involve hundreds of components and complex steps to be performed. So for the most common and critical maintenance procedures, it makes sense to create digital workflows. However, the growing number and complexity of manufacturing equipment make it impractical, if not possible, to capture every procedure. In a car, in an automobile, this is not very difficult to set a standard procedure for every operation that we have to carry. How we should change the wheels, how we should check the oil. There is a standard procedure that we can follow, and normally this procedure is also printed in the booklet, which is accompanying every car that we can buy. But if we have custom build equipment or systems, if we compose, if we create a new system for a new production line in any kind of industry, in bakery, in bottling, in car industry, and whatever, it's very difficult, maybe it's even impossible to state every standard procedure, to decide and describe every standard procedure. Why? Because we don't have many replica of the same machine or system. This is a custom-made system, so the procedures of this particular system are different compared to the procedures that other customers will have to follow on their systems. In these cases, augmented reality can help technicians, supplying them work order information, asset diagnostics, video recording capabilities, and remote expert assistance. If I use a controller made by some famous company, I will not mention any company, but let's imagine a machine using or a system using a PLC by some famous supplier. Maybe I am not able in this moment to change the program, to add some instruction or to make some troubleshooting on the PLC. Through AR, I can have immediately the remote assistance of an expert from the supplier of the PLC that will tell me what to do on my premises. And the same is for every other part of a system, of the asset, even through videos. So the instructions that I can receive as a maintenance technician are not only data and drawings, but can be also videos showing all the sequence of operations that I have to perform. So with remote expert assistance, a remote party can connect to the video feed of an augmented reality device, goggles or a tablet and so on, and provide engineering data and digital annotations to guide the maintenance technician throughout a procedure. And manufacturing organizations are also creating day by day libraries of recorded procedures that can be accessed and used on site. So here are some of the benefits that I already mentioned during my speech, and I would like to send this message to every one of you. If you are working in a manufacturing company of any kind, please consider the benefits that you can reap creating a day-by-day growing library of augmented reality drawings, data, recorded procedures that you can use with your technicians on the field or also with your maintenance technicians inside. To do this, you will need some platform. And in one slide, in a later slide, I will show you some example of the platforms that you can find on the market. So augmented reality offers more than just the ability to present digital content like characters and images. It can also overlay relevant information for the users on a screen in a video format or in a token format, so you can hear the voice of an expert telling you what to do, and so on. For instance, looking at a furnace through a set of goggles could let workers see information like the current running temperature or the exhaust gas temperature at a glance. Here again, you see an example in a car maintenance shop floor. You see somebody is looking at the engine with goggles, and on the goggles are displayed information about the operation that should be done. For instance, how to change motor engine or oil or some other part of the car. How to make maintenance to some other part of the car. Using augmented reality this way lets manufacturers streamline predictive maintenance programs. We know that predictive maintenance is the future nowadays because it's the new kind of maintenance that every company is looking for, as it allows to replace parts or make some adjustment before a fault is showing out. So predictive maintenance allows to keep the assets in order before there is some break, and every company is therefore setting some predictive maintenance programs, at least for the main assets of the company. Predictive maintenance can let workers see the equipment potential failure points, letting them quickly see if there is a problem, and crucially identify which parts are at fault. And replacement parts can then be ordered from a supplier or from a warehouse without the need for costly, unplanned downtime. Predictive maintenance allows companies to delete or to reduce at a minimum unplanned downtime, in which the company is just losing money. And in the bottom part, you can see the benefits of using augmented reality in maintenance, like a reduction of human errors, of execution times, of breakdowns, of downtime costs, and so on. Increasing, on the other side, the productivity, the operation speed, the fixed rates, the compliance, and finally the profit of the company. In a factory, even simple maintenance tasks, like for instance machine servicing, can often be unnecessarily time-consuming because of the amount of administrative work involved. Augmented reality lets maintenance staff see exactly which machines and equipment need services at a glance, using augmented reality device to see product data and history of the machine, cutting out hours spent digging out the information needed for the task. So it's possible to browse at a glance the data, the information about a machine, and also the historical data, if required, to take informed decisions. Using augmented reality, a maintenance crew can see precisely what equipment and hardware need servicing, including potential issues, so before some fault is evident. The same situation could show them operation times, data of last service, probable site of failure, and much more. So again, augmented reality will take the speculation out of the maintenance activity, which would permit quicker response and faster repairs. We don't have to think something like, what happens if should I change this component or this other component? No, because augmented reality is based on the best practice that the company decided to follow. And these best practice are in the form of standard procedures and can be displayed on the tablet, on the smartphone, or on the goggles of the maintenance operator, allowing him to perform the best operations for a single case, for any single situation. So no more speculation. Of course, augmented reality in this way will boost the efficiency in maintenance, because augmented reality and the goggles or tablets and so on will help to improve the productivity and safety Also safety, this is not stressed enough, and up to now, I would like to stress this concept in this moment: productivity and safety of maintenance and repair personnel. If there are standard procedures, if there are best-in-class procedures, the operator don't have to put his hands in some point of the machine to unscrew some component or to change or to replace some other component. No, the operator will do exactly what the augmented reality system will tell him to do. And so his hands and his body will be safer because no speculation is required by the operator. Easily available instructions and the access to data will shorten repair times and improve the capabilities, especially of junior experts to handle tasks. You don't have to be an expert to be sent on the field to make some maintenance. Our augmented reality technology helps to maximize the uptime, supporting predictive maintenance activities, like we said in a slide before. Today, one problem is very common. There are lots of data shown on a dashboard, but they are in the control room. Augmented reality is bringing this data by the operator at the operator service. Because normally when you leave the control room to start an inspection around or you start a maintenance process, do you still remember most of this data that you have seen on the dashboard in the control room? Probably not. And that's why Google's and tablets for augmented reality are becoming very important, because they allow to take these numbers and data with you. You can check the right data anytime, saving a lot of time and deleting a lot of mistakes, not to mention keeping you safe. So getting the right values makes sure that you make the right adjustments or the right replacements for every situation. Speaking about predictive maintenance, augmented reality is very often coupled to another technology, which is digital twins technology. The two technologies can be combined in manufacturing settings to create virtual clones of physical assets. So, for instance, for training of the technicians, we have a dynamic digital model that can show how to service and repair machines on the factory floor without being on the factory floor. We can work on a virtual model of the engine, for instance, in this case, that we have in the factory floor without moving out from the training room. This kind of immersive experience lets business put in place a more dynamic and cost-effective maintenance training program. And in fact, as we saw in a slide before, the training is one of the parts in a company which is most affected by augmented reality nowadays. Where we can use augmented reality? Of course, augmented reality is not necessary for every manual process in the factory. If there is a very simple process, or there is something that is a common knowledge, for instance, if we need to switch on the light, we don't need augmented reality that will guide us to switch on the light, because everybody is able to do this operation, or to make a phone call, or to call the responsible of the operations. So we don't need augmented reality for these manual processes. Well, augmented reality should address complex tasks, since they require the most experience to be executed efficiently, and often they contribute to quality issues. Generally, it is easier to develop augmented reality application for repetitive tasks, since less variability needs to be accounted for. So we have two possibilities: repetitive tasks or custom difficult tasks on specific systems that are custom made for some final customer, for some specific application. So where the maintenance technician can have some doubt, because it's not a very common system, maybe it's a single system around the world, so we need to guide the technician in the operation that he must perform. These are the two typical applications. So repetitive tasks, complex, normally, complex repetitive tasks, or specific custom-made systems or applications where normally a technician doesn't have the required knowledge to proceed without speculations. In training, we already have seen the information, so I skip over this slide. Here we can see the augmented reality market by region in billions of dollars, according to industry experts, secondary research and markets analysis. So this is a summa of the data coming from different sources. You can see that during the year, the augmented reality applications are growing very quickly. Look, for instance, the Europe case, which is the dark green side. North America is growing even faster, and Asia Pacific is growing the fastest. The rest of the world is a little bit slower, but by 2024, predictions are saying that the total market will be approximately $73 billion worldwide. So it's a huge market. It means that the companies are starting to believe, to appreciate the possibilities that augmented reality is giving to them. Who are the key market players? Well, this is just a list. Of course, there are many other companies working in this field, but these are the key players, let's say, so the biggest companies in this field. So we can see very known companies like Google, of course, PTC, very important company, Microsoft Corporation. The three of these companies are based in USA. You can see other names in USA. You can see also some company from Europe, like Wikitude, some company from Asia, and so on. These are the big company, the major players. If we go down to other players operating in this market, we can see, of course, companies from other parts of the world, like, for instance, a company from Italy, which is in Globe Technologies, or Augment from France, and so on. Finally, as I said at the beginning of this short speech, augmented reality is not used only in manufacturing. Here on the top right of the slide, you can see a situation that is very common when we go to visit some new place, a new town, a new country, and so on. Through augmented reality, we can have real-time informations according to the point where we are inside the town about the closest restaurant, or the closest cafeteria, or the closest free Wi-Fi service, the closest toilet, the closest hotel, the closest monument that we can go to visit, and so on. This is very common and is very useful. And this again is augmented reality, because we have a picture of the real location where we are, with some superimposed information about the services that are available in the surroundings. Of course, in this case, we don't have to make any maintenance, we don't have to perform any specific operation, and so normally we don't have the connection with some support services. Or maybe we can have connections with services like Alexela or some other service to which we can ask what should I do here, or where is the closest cinema, and so on. Interesting is also the possibility to use augmented reality in interior design, bottom right of the slide. So we can try to put a new furniture in an existing environment until we find the solution that we like the most. Top left, we can see the use of AR in fashion industry. So we can try to test different dresses and to change the colors and so on until we find the right one that we like the most. And the bottom left, we can see augmented reality in a new way. Instead of wearing goggles, we can display a virtual keyboard and a virtual screen and other tools that we need to browse or to perform our work, let's say in the air or on a screen or on a window or on on a table and so on. So it's not necessary to have specific devices with us, but we can have the benefits of augmented reality using the device that we have at our disposal. I made before the example of the cars displaying the speed, the maximum, the speed limit, and so on the windscreen. This is an example of using a part of the system that is already available to display augmented reality information for us. This was the last slide, so thank you for listening. Now I ask you if there is any question. Let me see.